The following is from the Agency for Instructional Technology, AIT.
One reason drawing hands and feet can be challenging is they appear in a variety of positions and have many moving parts. In this program, Paul will suggest ways of analyzing their parts in order to sketch them.
Here are some of the many ways you may wish to draw hands or feet. You may have an open hand, looking at the palm, and here we have a clenched fist. We have a foot here, foreshortened, looking at you. Another one side view, one with a shoe, gloves, moving action, and another front view here. This is just some of the ways. The best way to learn to draw hands and feet is to study them. Look at them. Familiarize yourself with the parts of the hand, the parts of the foot, and how they move. But here's some tips I can give you that'll help you know what to see, what to look for, and how to approach it and begin your drawing. If you're drawing a hand in this position, we look at the parts. Here we see the back of the hand, we see the fingers, and a number of joints. Now, one good way to start in thinking of the hand, the back of the hand, as a wedge-shaped block. This would represent the back of my hand here. Now, the fingers are usually in a fan shape, and your forefinger is usually the longest finger. And over here would be your little finger, ring finger, forefinger, index finger, and then we attach the thumb here. Now, the fingers are usually about the same length as the back of the hand would be here. So you have some measurements to go by. And the wrist, of course, will be attached down here. Now that's the way to think about it. After you have it laid out like that, and also the thumb, a good way to measure the thumb is if you'd swing an arc over here, and the thumb is extended as it is, it's usually in the arc. And if it's closed up, it will come a little above the knuckle here. So now you have 4 knuckles here, which I'll indicate before I draw the fingers. And then lightly, I draw the fingers without much shape other than that they are tapered. They taper from a joint. They'll taper down to this joint, and the joint will be a little larger, and it'll taper down to another joint, and then out to the end of your finger. Forefinger, and let me draw the index finger. Now the little finger will vary. It'll be shorter or longer on some people. But that's laying out the hand. I'm looking at the hand and knowing the parts. When I come to the fingers have 3 joints, if you count the knuckle. And when you move out here, then you have the fingernail. And as you shape them, at the joints, they're usually larger and then get larger down toward the knuckle. Now let me finish the finger here. We had the hand to look at. We got the measurements. And I'm indicating the joints. And out here we would have the fingernail. And here again, there's a little raise there at the joint. Now I'm shaping the hand. After I have the proportions the way I want, Now the difference in the thumb, it has only 2 joints. These have 3, but you have a joint here and a joint here, so you only have the 2 joints. So that's one way of drawing a hand, remembering these proportions here. Now if you draw a hand side view, think of this as the palm of your hand. You're looking down on the top. You also have the wedge shape. And now you know about how long the fingers are going to be. About the same length as here. And we attach a thumb down here. And here underneath is the palm that I'm drawing. Here's the knuckle. We got, and I put the joints, and there's a shape here, as we saw in the hand in the other view, and you have the little dip in the roundness between the joints. Now if you have another finger here that you can see, you'll have the 3 joints, and I'm drawing it in this position so you can tell, and you may have another one here that you could see. And usually you'll see, if you're looking at the hand, some skin here for the palm of the hand and a dip here like that. And when I feel comfortable with the shape, then I usually outline. It's similar to figure drawing. I come around and outline those parts and those lines that I want to keep. And of course that your wrist would attach here. And if you have a highlight area, this would be in shadow here. And probably the bottom of the fingers would be in shadow. Underneath of the hand and some shadow. But remember, 2 joints, 1 joint here and 1 joint here for the thumb, but 3 joints out here. How about drawing a closed hand? You can't see the wedge-shaped palm here, but it is in the shape of a block. If I'm looking down on the top 3/4 of a closed hand or a fist, I'll start out with something that'll look like this. Here's your wedge-shaped block down here. And here you have the joints. One of the joints you can't see back there, going down to the knuckles. And the knuckles would be here. And then you would see a thickness here of the small finger and a turn here. And a thumb would probably be up here, overlapping these. 2 fingers here, the index finger and the forefinger. And you see they turn here at this first joint. And back here would be the wrist. Now it's a matter of adjusting the size and shading. But I started with the block and fold the fingers as I have done there. Add the thumb, and you can see the change of direction of the fingers. And that's not too hard. The wedge-shaped block would be down in here then, and this is folded over. Now here's some tips for drawing feet, things to look for and ways to approach it. We're thinking about the parts of foot, and this is a foot inside view. So let's say this is the ankle about here, the ankle bone. Now we have the heel of the foot. You can think of as round. You have the instep coming up here to slant and going down into, in this case, this view would be looking at the large toe. And we have a ball of the foot here, and we have usually an arch. Now, feet will vary with people, but we'll all have those parts. They'll vary in shape. So if you can remember the parts, the ball of the foot, the arch here, the instep here, you'll usually have an ankle bone, and then you will see the heel, and there's usually a small protrusion coming back here. A thing to remember about the toe, there's only 2 joints to the toe, big toe, but your other toes have 3, as your fingers do. So the big toe is more like your thumb with 2 joints in it. So there's the parts and the things to think about. Now, if you're drawing a foot foreshortened looking towards you, it's a little harder. Foreshortening always is. Things to think about: when you come down here, the inside of the ankle is always higher than the outside of the ankle bone. The inside ankle bone, so it's usually on a slant, something like this. Then the instep, looking at it in foreshortening, will look like a wedge shape from this view. It'll come out to the joints of the toes, and if this is the large toe here, there's usually a slant here. Some people's feet are straight and some are slanted a little and maybe not this much, but usually there is a slant there. Some lines to show you that there's some volume there. Now, in this case, if your eye is at a level where you can see the front of the toes, then the toenails will be seen. In a perspective like this, and usually the small toe will be in, and you will see the front of the toes here. And it'll look something like that. Now remember, the large toe, if you're drawing it at a higher view or looking straight down on it, it will have only 2 joints. The joint here, it's connected to the instep, and you'll have 1 more joint. But the other 4 toes will have 3 joints. They're smaller, but you'll have 3 joints.
Using your own hand as a reference for remembering the different parts of a hand, try drawing an open hand palm up. Next, try sketching one from the side view. Using someone else as your model or a photograph, try drawing the side view of a foot. By thinking of the palm as a wedge shape and the spread of the fingers as a fan, you can begin to see relationships in hands. As for drawing feet, remember that the heel is similar to a ball and toes resemble fingers. With these ideas, enjoy drawing hands and feet in infinite positions. Drawing with Paul Ringler is produced by the Agency for Instructional Technology in association with the Oklahoma Educational Television Authority.